We leave the next day. Must make quite the sight, all of us tromping out of the manor, gag of Iggy's in tow and carrying their little satchels of food and supplies and tools. That would be adorable to see. The Iggy's that stay behind wave after us on the doors and windows. Yeah. And it's actually nice to be leaving without being chased out. Can't help but feel like one of those RPG heroes leaving their hometown for the first time. Off to start a grand new adventure, one that's going to lead to certain death. Or a war. Yeah, that would definitely be fitting for this. So what makes this bit get stuck in my throat? I stave off the mental images of knives and cauldrons and cattle prods and turn my gaze towards Genzo and Gidget instead. Both of them offering a smile. Right. We've got this. You've definitely got this. And then we're off. Past the houses and the hedges and the cobblestone streets. Past the pier and its lingering haze of memories on repeat. Back into the woods. A sea of pinks and purples and presentiments. Try to stay closer to the lake at first. Tight the circle we trace the shorter journey after all. But the ground quickly becomes hard to maneuver. All uneven crags and rocks littered amongst silt and sand. Soon we forge a wider circumference. Only occasional tangle of brush can slow us down. Going itself is uneventful. Despite my misgivings, the path is clear. Nothing and no one in the surrounding wood. Not in a particular aerial way either. The sort of way you know someone is watching you. No, this feels familiar somehow. Something when my foot catches an upturned root and I go tumbling forward, both Genzo and Gidget at my side in a second to pull me back to my feet, that I realise. Feels like the forest back home. One we used to explore. Bit scary for sure, but exciting all the same. An adventure with friends. I'm fine, mumble in embarrassed assurance as I pushed myself back to my feet. Genzo and Gidget just look at each other sheepishly. Cheeks burn at the attention. This part though, had this part always been the same? Maybe it had. Maybe I just never realised it. Back rise with Genzo, zooming along dusty, dirty roads before flinging ourselves down the grass, exhausted and laughing, watching the clouds overhead. Catching him looking at me, laughter as I obviously asked what was wrong. But there's something on my face. Afternoons in the computer lab with Gidget, shoulders touching as we troubleshoot an especially tricky line in our projects. Stupid jokes that had still made them laugh every time. Playful shubs as they make fun of my sloppy code. So yeah, I'm guessing Gidget goes by they, them now? Which I have absolutely no problem with. Just kind of feel bad for misgendering them. But yeah, I mean, like, I kind of had a feeling, but I didn't want to, like, you know, try to push it onto them, because I didn't know, kind of, you know, where they kind of sat in the whole, you know, gender sphere, but at least we know their respective pronouns now, so yeah, maybe I just never realized it. A hand out to my face. Hope it will hide the red on my cheeks as we start our hike anew. We walk for several hours at a time. Mostly in silence, save the occasional direction from Gidget. Intermittent flurry of activities from the Ickies. Usually when one of them has fallen or tripped or gotten themselves snagged on an overhead branch. God damn it. True to the original source, I guess. And it's a break to rest our legs, drink from a flask of water, nibble on snacks. Still pushing onward and always onward. Working until the sun hits its peak, then begins to descend. Yes, following the same trail it always does. As on sea or land, we follow it. follow towards those distant spires and the retribution that awaits us within. Night eventually falls, and with it, the temperature. Find the clearing, and the Iggies get straight to work building a fire. Then it's dinner. A small box of neatly laid food. Pull a chili cooked over flames. Food chocolate that turns to sweetness again, or against my teeth, lingers on my tongue as I stare up at the stars. It's quiet, said the crackling flame. Genzo snores on my right, Gidget's hum breath on my left. It still takes me hours to fall asleep. Pain in my shoulders settled to a dull ache that weighs down on my bones. It throbs like a heartbeat. In and out, in and out. Makes my brain thrum. Makes my already tingling anxiety crackle in my chest. I try to concentrate on other things. The warmth of the fire. Feeling of security from being sandwiched between my friends. Seed of hope I try to keep tended in the folds of my heart. I bring up a hand to trace the rough pan of the gauze. The wound I deserved, maybe. Wound that won't ever quite heal. Minded to myself of what I'd done, things I'd say, or said. How many more wounds will I endure before we bring the story to its conclusion? I sigh and lay out my flutter closed. Finally drift off to sleep. When the Iggies wake us up, I feel like I barely slept a wink. And thankfully the smell of the food didn't bring any unwanted guests, I guess. We should reach the castle a bit before nightfall if we keep up this pace. Gidget muses as they sip from the tin cup of coffee when the Iggies prepared. There's a rough gnarl in their voice that betrays their fatigue. Perfect. That place is a fucking nightmare during the day. She'll be much better at night. I do nothing but grunt in response. Don't have the energy for words just yet. Coffee tastes good though. Just how I like it. My spirits have slightly lifted by the time we break camp. Then it's back to our journey. Once more making our way through the trees, around tangles of brush and moss-covered stumps. Terrain is rougher now. More winding hills, more dips in the land, with streams cutting across our path. Find myself tiring more quickly. Pangs are back, sharp jolts of pain that zip out across my chest with each uneven step, each slopping incline. But I press onward all the same, not wanting to be the one to slow us down. I must not be very good at hiding it though, because next time we stop for a break, Genzo sits purposefully next to me. You, doing okay there, Riggs? Voice is hushed, to keep from embarrassing me. I shake my head, take an extra long sip from my flask. I'm fine, besides, it's not much farther. Genzo grunts, turning his head in the direction of the castle. That's what I'm afraid of. Yeah, same here too, bud. Same here too. When it's time to get up, my body groans at me. Chest is on fire. My feet feel like they're tied to two giant anvils. I push through it, jogging to catch up with Genzo and Gidget at the front of the line. Don't push yourself here. I see Gidget's eye cloud with worry as they look at me. Too late for that, Genzo says with a laugh. Guy's been pushing himself since the moment we step out the door. Hey, except it comes out as a cough that wrecks my lungs and sends copper-coated phlegm up the back of my throat. Am I wrong? Grumbles something about giving me a break as I wipe at my mouth. And then we're off. Bit slow this time, I notice. High noon turns into afternoon, turns to evening. The upper sea of pink and purple and yellow overtakes the sky. but our surroundings haven't changed much. Still the same expanse of trees, only darker now. The sun's light fading for a second time. Are we gonna make it by nightfall? Cough again? Lungs are burning. We may have veered a bit further than I thought. Gidget stops to survey our surroundings, which is mildly concerning considering I hadn't planned on us spending another night out on the... Gaze suddenly jerks to the left, body tensing. Uh-oh. What is it? I'm sure to give a jump. Eyes bristling with a sudden unease. Gidget stares off into the brush, ultimately shakes her head. Nothing. A grimace. Thought I saw something is all. Very nice deep fatigue will do that to ya. Just let us know if you start hallucinating us as food. I've been eating enough for 10 lifetimes over already. Yeah. What's another time then, eh, Genzo? Am I right or am I right? Anyway, let's keep going. If it gets too dark, we'll stop. But let's at least see how far we can get. Genzo throws a lopsided salute. Aye aye, Captain. This earns him an eyebrow and a sigh. But we continue all the same. Trees are casting long dark shadows across the ground now. Already our field of vision has decreased substantially. My legs are starting to feel like mollusses, achy and sluggish. Pain shooting up my heels with each step. Pain shooting out across my chest and shoulder. Pain shooting out the back of my neck and throbbing in my skull. Try to tell myself it's understandable. I cured a serious injury after all. And have now been walking for 2 straight days out in the middle of the woods. I can't help feeling the guilt tugging. But I can't help the feeling of guilt tugging at the nape of my neck. Slowed down because of me. Would have been there by now if it weren't for me. Bite down my tongue until the taste of copper fills my mouth. Guess I lost up in my guilt-ridden thoughts. In fact, I stopped paying attention to my feet and the ground underfoot. Turn rounds into an upturn, rock jutting from the underbrush. In the span of 2 seconds, pain makes a beeline straight up my leg, and my balance goes kaput. Probably crumpled to the ground like a psycho over ripe potatoes. Now the pain is all over me. Oh god, don't tell me you fucking broken your toe on a goddamn rock. Groin-worthy spasms ricketting out across my chest and shoulder and neck. Iggs. I don't want to worry them, so I turn over, pushing myself up on my elbows. That's when it happens. I shot a flash of movement to my right. Uh-oh. So yeah, should have known there was something, the thing that Gidget saw was actually there. Before I can let out so much as an O, there's a weight in my chest. Oh no, not the fucking tomato people! I thought we were rid of you! God, no! Oh god, no! Giant orb of red right in my face. It's one of those fucking tomatoes! Couldn't have said it better myself, Genzo. And Genzo's voice rises about 5 octaves. Tomatoes? Gidget sounds perplexed. Alright, you might not have met these guys yet. We've had the displeasure of already being made a meal of from these guys. God. Thing is staring straight at me, cool black eyes sunken and glinting. I should slap it away, push it off, try to run. Hell, even shouting something might do something. Anything. That's all I can do to not piss my pants right now or rot in the spot as memories of my guts hanging from its mouth flash through my mind like the world's most horrific Nickelodeon. At least fumble with the word. Of course you guys would be ever so hungry. Glad to see you guys haven't changed much. The thing looms ever closer, jewel glistening off its razor-sharp teeth. Both hold my face. Then there's a crunch. And next second it goes tumbling off of me, spindling limbs flailing. Oh, I look up to see one of the Iggies. Oh, thank you, other Iggy. Eyes wide and fearful, and the metal bar they used for the prior night's cook pot raised above its head like a golf club. You go, Iggy. Guess those guys have more fight in them than I thought. Gizzo whistles beneath his breath. Iggy looks from the body to the tomato, to me, to the bar. He drops it like a hot poker, hands on his cheek in shock. Oh, forget what I said. I mean, this is Iggy we're talking about, or at least a clone of him, so do you really expect anything less, Genzo? But at the moment, I'll try and finish short-lived, because there's one, there's more. All at once, the bushes on the other side of the path start to shimmy and shake. Dark shadows flashing in and out between the trees. Branches rustling overhead. Then they appear. All around us. Like a red will-o-wisp emerging from the black. They crawl out of the brush, out from behind the trees, climbing down the bark. 10, 20, 30. So many of them. What are those things? Gizzy clenches her fist in a show of fortitude, but I can hear the shudder in their voice. Guess you never had the privilege of watching those overgrown vegetables where your guts were garters. Gizzo grits his teeth. Let's try to keep it that way, eh? First nothing and no one moves. Then attack from the right. One of the tomatoes leaps, launching itself at one of the Iggies. Oh. Iggy down! Iggy doesn't stand a chance. Quick, start throwing all the other Iggies and have them as distractions. I'm sure there's enough to go around. The flurry of limbs and gnashing of teeth. When the ripping starts, growing a pool of red falling on the ground underneath, I feel the barely contained panic rolling in my gut and grab my chest with a forceful jolt. I stumble to my feet. Run. But it's too late. Oh, Jesus Christ! Slow down with the zoomies! God damn! Tomatoes come at us en masse, leaping, flying, surging towards us. All of them with twiggy limbs outstretched and poke grins wide and gaping. Make it about 2 steps before one comes straight at my head and drop to the dirt with a yelp. Hit the ground, another electric-like shockwave ripping through my shoulder. I can feel my stitches tearing, but I don't have time to worry about that. Okay, can you stop with the zoomies? My god, slow down! Already one of the tomatoes had latched itself onto my back, its tiny fingers clawing at the fabric of my shirt. I scream and spy myself, roll over with a terrified jerk. The tomato falls away and I quickly scramble to my feet, crawling somewhere, crawling anywhere. There's chaos around me! Everybody's going flying! I know I should be taking this more seriously, but this is straight out Scooby-Doo. This is fucking hilarious. Tomatoes sailing through the air, hitting the dirt, only to scamper away with almost playful glee. The Iggies have gone into a panic. Some of them are already down. Some of them hitting the tomatoes with pots and pans and anything else they can possibly use as a weapon. I roll to the right just as the Iggy falls to the ground in front of me. The spider lashed onto his head, with his teeth buried into his face. I stifle a sob as I watch the tomato rip a giant hunk of flesh from the Iggy's cheek. Where's Gitchin and Genzo? Heart pounds in my chest as I crawl. Nails digging in the dirt and knees smarting against stone. Flash of blonde. Git is there, not far in front of me. One hand clenched around what looks like a kitchen knife. As they hold their other against their chest, blade strikes atop their forearm. Fuck. Another thump, this time to my right. And Iggy falls half against me. His mother's attached to his back, his legs. One of his hands completely missing and gnawed off down to the wrist. Mayor's bun gazed for a moment, look of vacant hopelessness in his face. Man, kind of feel bad for these poor iggies. But we can't mourn for them for long though, we need to get out of here. But another tomato lands on top of his head and smashes his face into the dirt. Jerk backwards. Fuck. Breath tears at my larynx. Hurries and gasps. Dig my elbows in the dirt as I attempt to back crawl away. One of the tomatoes lands directly between my blade legs. Wicked smell already stained red. I can do nothing but stare at it. Cocks his head. Blinks. Then... Hell yeah, Genzo, you get him. Only just before it leaps, a foot connects with its tiny abdomen, sending it hurling away. Don't just fucking look at it. Genzo's voice crackles in frustration. Kick it or something, you dumb fuck. Mo slams into him from behind, latching into his shoulder and nearly sending him reeling forward. Grabs it by the green stem before it can so much to think about biting him. Tucking it to the ground and slamming a screwdriver into his bulbous head with a squelch. Red spurs up and onto his hands and cheeks. Rather than spur me on, this just sends my insides into a greater turmoil. With a hurried gasp, I twist away, blinking back tears of panic as I drag myself back through the dirt. We're gonna die! Can't hear anything over the pounding cacophony of my heart. Can't see anything through the veil of salt water glistening atop my eyes. Crawling through red now. Sticky, slimy slop coating the ground and the dirt and the brush. Can't tell what it is, but I don't care. Pull myself through it, desperate to get away. Fingers, my knees, my shoulders all screaming at me. 3 of them come at me this time. First one hits me from the side, sending me onto my back so hard I get the wind knocked out of me. Second finds my head, 6 sticky fingers clawing at my hair, wrenching and tugging at my scalp. And third perches itself right on top of my chest, lifeless trail of red smearing its chin and neck as it ogles me curiously. This is it. This is fucking it. Close my eyes, every nerve across my body sending off buzzing fireworks that sear at my skin. Guess we'll have to try something else next time. Tomato on top of me is gone. I blink. Blink again. Flashes something flying across my vision, but larger, bulkier, faster even than tomatoes. One grip of my hair is gone now. What the fuck? Push myself up on my elbows. The flurry of activity around me hasn't abated, but the vibe has changed. Now the tomatoes are scared. Maybe we should be scared too. God, I don't like where this is going. Scamper and crawl across the ground. Terrified squeaks as they attempt to get away, but again and again they disappear. Oh no. The rabbits are back! Frenzied flashes of brown. Of fur. Already the numbers are thinning. 5 more gone. 4. Confused haze, I push myself up to my feet, hand to my head. Oh, hi. You don't seem to be like the other rabbits? One of the flashes stops right in front of me, so fast I nearly fall straight back on my ass. What the? Hi. Rabbit grabs me by my shirt, lifting me up onto my toes as he studies me. My pants hadn't already been wet from the tomato assault, they'd surely be drenched by now. I don't blink. Don't even breathe. My lips and eyes tremble as the rabbit's twitching nose sniffs at my face and neck, and tends a shoulder. Cocks his head. Then, abruptly as he picked me up, he drops me back to the ground and zips away, taking a nearby escaping tomato with him. I stand there, unmoving, staring at the spot he'd recently vacated, my body quivering. Eggs! Turn my gaze vacantly to see Genzo scrambling towards me, part of his face not covered in red splotches, as white as a ghost. Comes so fast he nearly ran straight into me, stopping himself just in time and looking me up and down in a frenzied jerks of his head. God, fuck, God. He wipes his forehead, wipes it again. Her life, God, fuck. He keeps repeating it over and over again. See his fingers shaking, his eyes strained. Looks about as so shocked as I feel. 16 more seconds and he wouldn't have been. Gidget limps over with a grunt, nursing their arm. Look equally as rough. Scratches lining their cheeks, red staining their clothes. What the hell is even going on? Now it's time for the rabbits to do the zoomies. Turn to watch a last struggling tomato get whisked away by another flush of brown and fur. Then, forest goes eerily quiet. The scene around us looks like the aftermath of a massacre. Puddles of oozing red glistening atop the dirt. Strewn half-eaten limbs caught on stems and twigs. Pink insides hanging from tree branches. Someone gurgles as I take it all in. Taking the sight of all those Iggies, all those me's, lying in pieces across the forest floor, and it's laid bare. Now that the panic is starting to fade away, it's being replaced by a cold feeling of disbelief. My legs, my arms, my entire body begin to shake, clammy chills clutching at my frame. Bring a hand to my mouth as bile rises to the back of my throat, and then drop to my knees. Eggs! Genzo's beside me in a second, his hand to my shoulder. Doesn't say anything else. Ew. Just rolls my back in wide circles as I upchuck the pound cake I'd eaten during our break not more than 20 minutes ago all over the ground. Movement. A rustle. Then another. Iggies! Oh, at least a few you saw hide, although you're missing a few chunks. So I think you start pushing themselves back to their feet. God, poor guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count 9 of them rising from the viscera-strewn path. God, poor guys. Some of them look relatively unharmed, nothing but a few scratches and bruises. Others are clearly worse for wear. Long gashes in their fronts and backs. Few of them missing eyes and fingers. See Gidget taking stock of our remaining troops. They curse under their breath. That's not going to help morale. Pause. We're sort of conquering heroes, though. As soon as I had the words left their mouth, then there's a flash from the right. A shadow bushes right lands in the middle of the recuperating gaggle of Iggies. Feeling stumble backwards in surprise. Rises to his full height, looks around. Oh, there's more of you. Another flash, another shudder. A second rabbit appears, then a third. But they're not wearing their usual armor, far from it. Seem to be geared up for some kind of wooded recon work. Garments light and airy, they're normally boot-clad feet free and nimble across the ground, or against the ground. Glance around at their handiwork, or at the strangeness of our group. Then turn to us. Gidget steps in front of Genzo and me, hands held out protectively. State your purpose, rabbits. Go silent. The rabbits just staring at us. Then cough from behind. Saving your sorry asses, apparently, though you seem awfully ungrateful. Oh, hi. You look even scragglier. Three of us spin around to find a fourth rabbit standing behind us. Let's go the severed tomato head he'd been holding, spits and wipes his nose. Nobody says anything. Jerry? I rise to my feet, dismally coloring my voice. Yeah, I think we... we met previously, didn't we? I think in one of the arcs. Been a while, so... and it kind of all just blended together, so... In that half second, 3 things happened. First, I realized I had no idea how I could possibly know the rabbit's name. Second, my mind is all at once filled with strange visceral memories of fire and brimstone and magic and about a million other things that can't be possibly real. Because magic's not real, and why have my friends look like that, and third, Ginzu lets out a throw. Oh hell no! Goes storming towards Jerry, finger pointed criminally in the air. Genzo's tirade has already started. God damn it, Genzo. Fucking furry fuck up, stab you straight in the fucking... So like before you fucking so much as look at him, you convincing jewel swiping fake ass king. Or do you yank those ears out of your fucking head and stuff them straight in your fucking nose, you fucking... Jerry just looks down at him, unamused. Genzo! Joke after him, get you hot on my heels. Genzo isn't finished, because of course he isn't. Begins poking Jerry in the chest with the sharp jabs of his index finger. Hey, fuckwood. You ever think of, I don't know, not showing your fucking face again after that whole fucked up rabbit worshipping shit show you subjected us to? Huh? Jerry leans over, his nose twitching. Some reception after saving your life, but manners have always eluded you. Manners like my fucking fist going straight down your fucking fairy rabbit throat, straight out your fucking rabbit ears. Charming. Would you prefer to do this before or after those creatures have strung up your insides like party decorations? I can wait. Guys. Party. Ooh. I think we've already had enough of your parties, you buck-toothed jackass with superiority complex. What's first on the agenda? Smashing into Iggy's hand? Boxing high Fulton drivel? Trying the whole fucking world just so your daddy will pay attention to you for a single second? At least my drivel has some literally merit to it. It's just a screaming, barely logical profanities and anatomically impossible defensive maneuvers. Guys! Atomically impossible? I'll show you atomically impossible, giant furry fuckface fucking piece of rabbit shit. All the words of the world and yet your diatribes still sound like those of a foul-mouthed toddler. Would you two fucking stop it already? Comes from Gidget this time. So sharp and loud and sudden that it stops all of us in our tracks. Jerry and Ginzo look at Gidget in shock, then at each other, then at the ground. Thank you, Gidget grumbles, massaging their temple in obvious discomfort. I take a hesitant step forward, and clasping and clasping. Thank you for saving us. Jerry's nose twitches. At least someone around here has some semblance of appreciation. Gunster's over at the scene of carnage, the other rabbits. Though it was no trouble on our side. Got used to the occasional run-in with our vegetarian friends. They get antsy, inspired. Make a face, stomach twisting in nauseous knots. Inspired? That's one way to put it. We? Gidget blinks. What, did you expect all the rabbits to have come to the influence of that thing up in the castle? Some of us do actually care about this place, you know. Oh no. Yeah, I was dreading about what all of them had got turned into. Oh god. This is not going to end well for any of us. Mainly Genzo here. Should known old freckle fuck had something to do with this. You have some kind of resistance then? Indeed. Jerry twists his foot away as Genzo tries to discreetly step on it. Genzo, calm the fuck down. Our numbers have shrunk some, but we can still be a force to be reckoned with when needed. Though nowadays we're mostly just biding our time, keeping the forest safe and monitoring things. Can you help us get to the castle? I say with a sudden onset of confidence. Jerry blinks, looks at me. Now there's a braggadocious idea. You can see his ears twitch. You aren't by chance courting death, are you? Because that's a surefire way to win him over. The place is overrun with rabbits. No one's gone in or out in months. But we're the only ones who can stop this. We gotta get in there. Indeed. I think if anyone's gonna get through to Orlem at this point, it's us. Yeah, lucky us. Jerry's eyes twitches. You make a good point. Turns his gaze in what I can only assume is the direction of the castle. We might be the only ones who can course-correct things at this point. There's a moment of silence. Jerry makes a clicking noise in the back of his mouth and jerks his head in the direction of the trees. See the others take off. We'll head back to base, see if we can figure out a strategy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Genzo waves his hands. How do we know this isn't some kind of carefully crafted trap meant to completely thoroughly fuck us over? Guy got a track record, you know. Jerry just smirks. You don't. But you also don't have a lot of other options now, do you? Nods in my direction. The little boy toy over there looks about ready to pass out. So, at the very least, you're going to need some rest. Genzo and Gidget both look at me. I blink, shoot my gaze back and forth between them, bring my hands up in confusion. I'm fine, Even that motion was apparently too much because it sent dizzy dancing spirals across my vision. And I had to bring my hand up to my head with a moan to stop the world from spinning. Fuck, eggs. You're in really bad shape. Genzo brings a hand to my arm. Fingers are warm against my clammy skin. Looks like your stitches came out, it says with a grimace. Glance down to see the gauze wrapped around my shoulder glistening with new blood. That even makes my head thrum. But you've got medics who can look him over. Jerry smooths back his ears with an only slightly elongated sigh. We really are going to do this? We certainly can't have anyone slowing us down now, can we? At any rate, let's move along. Night will fall soon. The castle perimeter gets unsafe at night. I see his eyes twitch. You might want to get that eye looked at, because it shouldn't be twitching that much. And he starts off in the direction the other routes disappeared. Gidget whistles back at Iggy's, who still bemused and bumbling. Genzo gives my uninjured shoulder an encouraging squeeze. Come on, Iggs. Let's get you somewhere you can lie down for about 9.5 hours, yeah? Yeah. So I can manage to say as a lot of us fall into step behind our reluctant rabbit savior. Jerry leads us through the rapidly darkening woods, pausing every few minutes to survey the fauna. He is twitching. Not far though. Reach a clearing with a strangely conspicuous, there we go, finally got it out, stump surrounded by a strangely conspicuous patch of brush. Jerry goes straight up to it and gives the thing a solid knock with his foot. Pops open. Come along then. Disses towards us before hopping inside the newly revealed passage. God, this turns out to be some kind of Silence of the Lambs shit. He'll be fine. Only with rabbits. You'll be fine. Rabbits wearing human suits. That's like the opposite of a furry. Gonna get in this rabbit stump hole. Ah, fuck, fine, I'm going. Go down the hole. That is a bit tricky to navigate. One of those rope ones that constantly attempts to twist away from your reaching foot. We make it down in one piece. Three of us are gazing around our new environs, as our remaining squadron of Iggies continues their descent behind us. It's larger than I expected it would be. It's almost homey. Great big cave carved out of the dirt, but lined with mosses and roots and hanging vegetalia. And curving around, the path underfoot ebbing and flowing with the rhythm of the land. At the end is a small opening that appears to lead out onto some sort of moonlit overlook. Built into the cliff then. Following after Genzo and Gidget, head on a swivel as I take in the beds of brush and leaves, border-like tables that, with plates of bread and wooden stains of frothy beverages. And the rabbits, because there's certainly no lack of them, all around us and staring at us as we make our way through the dimly lit path leading down the cave center. Some of them are lounging on their beds, each perched on knees and ears at rest. Some of them are gathered around tables and partaking of victuals, engaged in stories or welcomed. Oh, that one. It was card games. And still others are exercising. Though perhaps training would be a better word, given their cobbled together punching bags and target boards. One of them even boasted a rather crudely drawn yet still recognizable likeness of Autumn on his kingly attire. Yeah, they must really not like Autumn in this version of Wonderland. Guess so absorbed in staring agog at my surroundings that I didn't even notice how far behind the others I'd gotten. The one of the rabbits hops down from his perch right beside me, no switching and eyes narrowed. Jump backwards as a swallowed squawk, then give a little jog to catch back up with Gidget and the others. At the center of the room is a round table, seemingly cut from the stump of an enormous tree. It's currently covered with an assortment of maps and papers, and to the right of it is a sunken fire pit, cozy and crackling as its light dances across the walls. Jerry reaches the table. A few of the rabbits who had been poring over documents stand up straight, pulling a swift salutes. Jerry gestures towards us with a flick of his ears. Give them some beds for the night, and food. Glances back, we make momentary eye contact. Stand up a little straighter. Oh, and that one's gonna need a medic. Sir, yes sir. Rabbits dart into action, wrapping blankets around our shoulders, fetching us mugs and ushering us towards the fire. All happens quite quickly, to the point that it makes my head whirl. Though, just as I'm about to sit down with the others, another set of paws finds me, guiding me past the pit and towards another corner of the cave, what appears to be an infirmary of sorts. Not particularly gentle with me. Laid out on one of the wooden cots as they yank the dried gauze off my shoulder and get to work. First clean it, and stirring it with alcohol, then applying some sort of goopy ointment from a tube. Well, finally going in to replace the stitches. It hurts, but not as much as I expected it would. Result of whatever they used, perhaps. It still makes for an uncomfortable time, though. I find myself groaning in spite of myself, tears streaming into the corners of my eyes as I grip the side of the cot. Time to finish and replace the gauze, out of breath and out of sorts. but at least I'm no longer bleeding. Yeah, we're definitely gonna need to keep that blood in us, at least what's left of it, because we're gonna need as much as we need for when we go face Orlum. One of the rabbits rewraps the blanket around my shoulder before giving my hair a semi-encouraging tussle. Up, he gestures. Check it again tomorrow. Right. Pull the edges of the blanket and tie it around my frame, feeling over something shy. I handed a mug and shoot away. Tingles against my fingertips. Warm. I start shuffling back towards the fire. I had to give another half jump at the sight of Jerry leaning towards the wall only a few paces away, just staring at me. But what? Voice cracks. Jerry's nose twitches. He hacks something up in the back of his throat. Spits on the ground. Ew. Glanced out the resulting glimmer of ooze. Ew, don't stare at it, Iggy. Finally, without saying anything else, he steps forward, extending his hand. I stare at it. Stares at me. Not knowing what else to do, I take it with an awkward shake. Or that. You know. I blink. 'Cause rabbit's gotta do what a rabbit's gotta do, you know. Another blink. Just keep shaking my hand. But we can put all that behind us, yeah? What the hell are you talking about? Drew jerks his hand away angrily, front teeth gnashing. I tried to apologize to you, blundering ignorant. Yeah, that one. That was an apology? I thought it was pretty damn clear. Shaking my hand and making vague allusions to things I barely remember. Jerry flicks his head away with a growl, seeing him biting down on his bottom lip. Look, I did some things I regret. Am I proud of them? Pauses. Thinking, did that have to do with the side story, Our Fantastic Wonderland? Because I'm pretty sure he's talking about that, because I remember a Rabbit King from that. But it's been a while since I once played that side story, so... Yeah, Iggy hadn't mentioned about magic and all that. So, thinking that's kind of what happened, because, yeah, that was one hell of an adventure, if you could call it that. He pauses. Actually, yes, I am. But that's besides the point. The point is that things are gone fucked beyond all reason. And it'd be in the mutual interest of both of our parties to stop this runaway train of unhindered horrors before it takes us a stamp through to the last stop. And that last stop is coming very, very soon, I think. To my abject blinking, just holding my mug up against my cheek. Jerry watches me for a moment, and presses his lips together. Gidget... I ain't even thinking Gidget. His ears curling in on themselves in crinkly embarrassment. Turns away. So yeah, that's all. We'll discuss strategy tomorrow. Get some rest. Then twists on his heels and goes storming off. Simply stare after him, at a loss. Was he? I blink again, and shake my head. Still woozy from the operation. Some food and rest by the fire would do me a world of good right about now. With a final glance at Jerry's retreating form, I head towards the center of the cave and the flickering light of the fire beyond. Spend the night feasting, laughing, warming our bones with frothy ale and fireside joviality. Despite the initial dubious reception, rabbits take to us immediately, the Iggies especially. Once they've been patched up, they join the rabbit card games, drinking competitions, even partaking in a few bouts of dagger darts with the targets on the wall. Rabbits themselves can't get enough of it, hooping and howling at the stakes. Levels of inebriation rise. One more of the alcohol rise to my own cheeks. watching one of the rabbits relay an exuberant story of one of their many battles against the King's Men, as they call their more violent brethren. Jerry even joins in towards the end, insisting that the injury he succumbed to in the story had been the result of a certain rabbit named Leroy jumping the gun. Damn it, Leroy. Can't even escape you from even this game. Even his legacy remains. Which launches all of them into a raucous debate that I lose track of about 5 minutes in. It doesn't really matter at that point. Miller's just tuning out the words, focusing instead on the warm hum of voices, crackle of the fire, warm tingle running up and down my skin. His hand keeps finding my shoulder whenever he laughs, squeezing in time with his mirth, smile bright and contagious in the flickering light. Gidget keeps checking to see if I need anything, filling my empty mug, grabbing one of the pokers of fly roast mushrooms, so I don't need to get up. I feel safe, secure, just there with my friends, surrounded by warmth and laughter. Too bad it's not going to last much longer. Then my gaze drooped to the fire, just staring at the dancing embers, and things finally start to die down. I feel a sort of contented tiredness settle over me. I pull my blanket in around my shoulders as I wander around trying to figure out where to put my empty mug. One of us must notice my confusion because he takes it from me with a somewhat astonished smile, telling me I could have just left it wherever. Oh, I respond, suddenly sheepish, and watch him walk away with it, feeling as though I've just parted with something dear. Give my head a shake. God, I need some sleep. Not back towards the other end, a small section of beds we'd been given on the other side of the fire pit. Around me, rabbits are yawning and stretching and lounging across their beds. And I spy Iggy's doing the same up ahead, each of them carefully and painstakingly preparing their bread for the night ahead. Something cozy about the sight. All of us are settling down for a long winter's nap, or something. Though this summer's a pang of disquietude in my stomach. If only that were all we were settling down for. Not whatever awaits us in the castle, the forest beyond. Yeah, it's only gonna get even worse from here. I press my lips together with a quiet sigh. Spot Genser is sitting on his bed against the far wall, curled up in his blanket, watching the Iggy's in mild amusement as he leans against the earthen surface of the cave. Glance around for Gidget, only I don't see them. Not in any of the beds, not helping the rabbits tending to the fire pit, nor in the infirmary corner. I see a final lingering Iggy merged with a fresh bandage pasted across its forearm. I blink, tilt my head, turn in the direction of the glow of the moonlight, an opening at the end of the cave, leaning out to the overlook of the sea of trees and stars beyond. I catch a glimpse of blonde hair just past the edge of the tunnel. Ah, another blink. Turn my gaze back towards Gensu, then again towards Gidget. Ooh, what do we do? Well, I mean, seeing as I am going to be going back through this arc again to get the different endings, we will come back to these two options later when we go to their respective routes. So, because we chose not to think of anybody, we're just going to go straight to bed. As much as it pains me to do this, but once we get to Genzo and Gidget's routes, we will be choosing those options. Unless these ones just lead to death, then we'll soon see, but I scratch at my calf with the side of my foot and yawn. Not really feeling up to any kind of interaction right now, to be honest. Today's been long enough as is. Kinda just want to go curl up on my bed and sleep. Honestly, same. So with a slight trudge in my step, made my way through the rows of bed and their accompanying Iggy's. Mine is the bunker Genzu's. And as I start the ladder, Genzo glances up from his spot underneath, eyes wide and blinking. You hitting his sack eggs? Yeah, say with a peek down through the rungs. Maybe I don't come off as too standoffish. Just tired is all. Don't blame ya. Then, after a slight pause, have a good night though, yeah? We'll try to. Yeah, and you too. There's buzz on my lips as I pull myself the rest of the way up and into my bunk. There's soft beneath my back, cushiony cloud of leaves and soft brush, and at its head, a pillow my head practically sinks into. Feels wonderful. As I lie there, just staring up at the ceiling overhead, light from the fire dances across the grooves in the dirt. I feel some kind of built-up tension in my back and shoulders begin to ease. Finally, some time to myself. Some time to just lie here in the quiet. It's incredibly calming. Continue crackle at the fire pit. Chirp of crickets from somewhere within the surrounding dirt and vegetation. Soft warm light enveloping my body like a soothing veil. And my eyes flutter closed, and just letting the quietude settle over me. Doesn't take much longer after that for my consciousness to drift away, and sleep to overtake me. Yeah, we're definitely going to need all the energy we need for tomorrow. Wake the next morning to the smell of something cooking over the fire. Hopefully it's not Kenzo this time. The delightful smell that makes the tips of my nose twitch. Or the tip of my nose. There's only one tip, as far as I'm aware. When I cream my eyes open, I see soft sunlight flickering in from the back tunnel, blanketing the cave in warm light. Push myself up to the seat with a groan, glance about. I was already up and moving, scurrying around and doing, well, who knows what really. But they're quite active, good number of them around the fire pit, on half-eaten skewers and drinking mugs of what I hope is coffee. Because goddamn could I really use some coffee right now. Stifling a yawn, made my way down the ladder, nearly bumping into a scuttling Iggy as I start towards the center of the cave. I was equipped with my own mug and plate of morning comestibles. Wandered towards the fire, hoping to catch a glimpse of a familiar face so I don't have to stand awkwardly and eat. Or even worse, make the walk of shame back to my bunk and eat there. Sleep well? Then I jump in my shoes at the voice. All I can think of is that one vine. Stop! You made me drop my croissant! I don't know why I thought of that, but... And twist around to see Jerry, standing next to me, arms crossed over his chest. How on earth is this 7-foot-tall rabbit so fucking stealthy? I guess, I say before sinking my mouth into my coffee. Good, he said simply. You're gonna need it. Gives me a chest pat on the shoulder before striding away with a crisp Raoul and heading for the main table. Watching for a moment, just blinking in silence. I return to my breakfast of fried potatoes and eggs. Once breakfast is over though, things begin moving quickly. Table of documents is cleared, only to be replaced by a single large map. And around the table, rabbits begin to gather, Jerry at the head and conferring with what I can only guess are his top men. Many rabbits are no less active. Take their armor and weapons en masse, ending holes and rips and sewing new layers of hard plates into the joints, sharpening daggers and spearheads. A few of them even carving darts and arrows out of hardwood bark for an assortment of long-range options. I'm impressed, to say the least, though I'm not sure what wouldn't impress me at this point. That if you ask me my expectations before making the final Wonderland excursion, I would 100% have not said a rebel army of underground rabbits ready to blood into battle at a moment's notice. I feel a bit out of my league. Don't know enough about the turf, the enemy. Well, I mean, kind of, if it's all of them. But we don't know to the extent of how worse it's gotten. Because we already got surprised by Gidget and her extra 8 legs. So, God, I'm dreading what it's gonna be like. Cause, current situation to provide much in the way of strategic advice, but I try my best to follow along with the rapid discussions happening around the round table as Jerry and his band of merry rabbits beleaguer the pros and cons of each assault on Castle Orland. Gidget proves better than me at speaking on our needs, as the only one's not 7 foot tall at the table. In fact, they seem completely in the element. On their feet next to Jerry and debating points of entry based on known rabbit concentration areas, the term Jerry and company kept throwing around as KRCAs. There's something quite regal about the sight. But the way they expertly rebuke ideas that would have required the 3 of us to move at speeds of up to 60 kilometers an hour to keep from having our heads lopped off. Well, next to me, Genzo keeps coughing and making wisecracks about everything from the rabbit's mating rituals, of course he would, to Jerry's unnatural fixation on getting inside in Orland's castle. God damn it, Genzo. This one sees a slap across the nose from Jerry's poor moving stick. Rightfully so. It's all quite a lot, really. But somehow, between the group, a plan begins to develop. And as I watch Jerry move the little wooden pawns that represent us across the map again for the umpteenth time, realization hits me. This might actually work. Does it seem impossible? Mildly. Does it seem dangerous? Incredibly. But by golly, do the cogs seem to be turning in the right direction, because for once, no one says a thing. Everyone just stares at the board. Jerry taps his stick against his shoulder, gaze flicking around the table. Well, he finally says, voice rumbling in the base of his throat. Commence Operation Bottoms Up, I guess. What a name for an operation. Let me guess, Genzo came up with that name? The sewers. Going in from the sewers. There's perhaps some mild irony in this, given how many times we're likely exited by the sewers in some form or another. I try not to think about it, yeah. Instead, I focus on my final preparations. Final med check in the infirmary. Final weapons check with a rather exuberant rabbit named Lemmy. I settle on a small retractable dagger under the assumption I'd injure myself on anything else. Yep, that would sound about right. Final meal with a noticeably tenser crew. Dinner is a giant pot of pine squirrel stew. Final empathetic shoulder touch from Gidget as they tell me everything's gonna be fine. Just fine. Final empathetic back slap from Genzo tells me we're all gonna die. Or just as quickly retracting it and fervently apologizing upon seeing the colour drain from my face. And then, once the sun begins to descend towards the horizon, we're off. Smaller battalions leave first. One after another spilling off, disappearing into the woods like whispers in the night. He is perched on Rabbit's shoulders, tasked with recon work, sentry work, and the like. Everyone's aware of their part in the plan. Until it leaves only us. Genzo, Gidget, and I. And Jerry and his closest men, I guess. We're to occupy the appropriately named King's Point till everyone is in position and our team in the campaign has arrived. Jerry squats down next to me, saying nothing. I must look at him with the blankest, most confounded expression in the world. He snorts in impatience. He is twitching. Take us an hour to get there at your speed. You want me to get on? Well, I don't want you to throw me a surprise 21st birthday bash now, do I? Don't you get sassy with him, you overgrown chinchilla. Gidget takes a menacing step forward, which only makes Jerry's fur bristle further. Okay, guys, stop the fighting. Save the fight for when we get into the castle, okay? Want me to leave all your hairless monstrosities behind you, a rotund jackass? Get on the right man's back, please. See Gidget's size twitch. Sorry, say it nothing and no one. Tree Hussam resettles into his squat. Oh, that's what you wanted from me. You could have used the words, mate. And I attempt to climb on, jumping a bit so I can wrap my arms around his neck. He pulls back up immediately. I nearly slide off. Jerry grabs my bony knees and yanks me so tight against his back I just about erp my insides out onto the grass. Gives a jerk of a nod at the others, who subsequently kneel down and watch Genzo and Gidget lash themselves onto their own rabbit chariots. As the tightness of my grip or the way my arms are shaking, it must be obvious I'm a bit rattled, because Jerry throws me a quick glance. I see his eyes soften for just a moment. I won't let you fall off. I blink, attempt to process delivery of this information. Not given a chance, because the next second, the group is ready and Jerry makes a little click in the back of his throat, then leaps. Barely able to register what's happening first. Head thrown back in as wind launches itself straight into my face, to my nasal cavity, sending my hair flying and my glasses nearly straight up my nose. Great, just what we need. Whiplash. An emotion that's more instinctive panic than anything else, I slam my face into the back of Jerry's neck, clinging to him like a leech. I can't see where we're going. Can only feel it. Dodging in and out between trees, leaping over brush, sailing so smoothly across the rough turf you'd think we never even touched the ground. It's exhilarating, to be honest. Once my initial terror has begun to abate, my heart no longer beating like a jackhammer in my ears, I ease up on my grip. The wind whips at my hair, like that of a dog sticking its head out the window. I rest my cheek against the fur of Jerry's neck, closing my eyes against the rapidly passing landscape to keep from getting dizzy. I can feel him beneath me, the way his muscles pull and snap with movements, the sun turns. Not sure I've ever felt simultaneously so out of control and in control of my life. Careening wildly, yet knowing I'll still get to where I need to go. Fascinating feeling. I entertain the thought of looking back, searching for any sign of the others, but decide against it when my stomach gives an inelegant gurgle. Best to just not move, perhaps. Not sure how long we run. 10 minutes? 20? Ground become must be substantial, though. At some point, I notice a shift in our trajectory, ever so slight incline. The air begins to slow, trees passing by less dizzying speeds as the veil of overhead leaves begins to thin. Then we emerge. The road is getting to a halt just beyond the line of trees. and I instinctively clutch every inch of my body against him to keep from continuing my forward flight. Simply stands there a second, waiting. Then another rabbit bursts from the brush, and another. The rest of the group appears one after the other. Jerry nods, another click in his throat, before wandering up towards a nearby outcropping of rocks. He pulls a squat to let me down, promptly fall straight back on my ass. God. I bring my hand to my head, muscles trembling. I try to pull myself up back to my feet, simply stumble in the opposite direction, landing with a painful thud on my shoulder. Unbecoming groan racks my frame. Iggy. He just starts towards me, their hand outstretched. All their knees crumple beneath them. While behind them, Ginza hasn't even left the ground, just staring up at the night sky as he moans something about his bones melting. Jerry and the other rabbits ignore us, making their way purposely towards the rocks and hunkering down behind them. Finally managed to push myself up to a seat, long enough to collect my bearings. On a small hill just outside the threshold of the forest. It's dark now, quite dark, with nothing but the sound of crickets and cicadas punctuating the silence. So I'm crawling over towards where Jerry and the other rabbits are conferring by the rocks, and stick my head curiously over the nearest stony barricade. Gas leaves my mouth before I can stop it. A little startled hiccup in the back of my throat. There it is, towering at the top of the sloping expanse like a needle-piercing sky. Black, shadowy stronghold outlined in brilliant contrast against the thick medley of dark clouds overhead. The castle. Shrink back just a bit, stomach giving an unceremonious gurgle. Seeing it there, right in front of me, has suddenly made it real again. All those memories I shut temporarily beneath the surface of my brain so I'd be able to function, and are beginning to bubble back up like a slowly boiling cauldron. I swallow. Hard. Jerry pulls his head up over the rocks next to me, ears twitching. There she is. Ghastly sight, you know. You could say that. A reign of terror over this land shall soon come to an end, once the heartless Hellion occupying a peak is slain. I blink. We didn't say anything about killing all of them. Glance at Jerry. We're not killing him, no. Jerry ignores me. Of course he does. They're turning back towards his fellow rabbits in continued consolation. And I take the opportunity to gaze out across the unbearable expanse of land, separating us from our own target. See the castle town. See how many times had Genza and I walked those streets. Back then it had been devoid of life. Now it's devoid of, well, everything. Houses that one lined the cobbles sit in piles of rubble. Roads strewn with unidentifiable bric-a-brac. And the once tinkling fountain had turned into a dark pond of murk that bubbles and hisses with acidic pulse. Past the town itself, I see the path winding up towards the castle. Its once tiny grasses are now growing over the sides, rising up between the bricks. Even the trees themselves appear to be weeping, slouched over like heaving willows with their leaves scraping the earth. There's little movement to be seen in the dark. Nothing but the occasional lurking shadow moving between the murky depths of the ruin. Going to Jerry's men, though, this place is a breeding ground for rabbit soldiers. That thought alone is enough to make the hair on the back of my neck stand up like lightning rods, as my eyes rove the perimeter. Hey there, Genzo. Genzo crawls up next to me. I hear him let out a little whoop as he pushes himself up onto the rock in order to see. Makes your dick shrivel up like a California raisin, don't it? Not like you'd have much there to begin with, Genzo. He whistles beneath his breath. certainly not instilling much confidence. Guess that fucker wasn't happy with the previous aesthetic. Not sadistic murder you in your sleep enough for the old pepper-pocked people eater. Oh my, not that he doesn't have a point, but... And hi, Gidget. Gidget rises up on my other side with a small grunt. Seeing it is indeed a lot different than simply talking about it. Brows furrowed with a worried shudder. I only hope the plan will work. Plan will work. Jesus, I know they're on our side, but why do you have to be so fucking creepy sometimes? Genzo hisses. I heard that. Want me to say it louder? Let's review the plan again, shall we? Gidget cuts in with a cough. I shoot them a smile of gratitude. Yes, the plan. Very good. Jerry's ears flick to the left, then to the right. See him peer out across the darkened plain. Stage 1 is already in motion if my ears don't deceive me. I blink, strain my ears, but hear nothing. It is? Yes, northbound squadrons have already begun their approach. They will aggro the two KRCAs east of the main gate. That's when our long-range unit will move into position in the bread box. Bread box? Genzo snickers next to me. Joey shoots him a glare, but otherwise doesn't react yet. When Genzo is involved, it's just best not to react. They'll provide cover to the first squad to begin their push towards the main gate. While they draw fire from any remaining units in town, our squad will circle around on the westward side and cut left at the moat and follow it down to the sewer entrance. You'll be safe once you're inside. Bars are spaced too closely for us rabbits to get in, but you three should be able to slip inside without much trouble. Yeah, but bet that's not the only thing you wish could slip inside. God damn it, Genzo. Genzo coughs into his hand. See Jerry's eyes twitch. The Gidget keeps the conversation moving. If we're lucky, there'll be barely any rabbits left to notice us, let alone attack. Yeah, and if we're unlucky, there'll be a whole parcel of them waiting to sink their oversized biscuit pins into our larygins. Someone gurgles unceremoniously at the thought, and I flinch in spite of myself. If we're unlucky, we'll have Jerry and his squad to hold any surprise forces off until we reach the sewers. Think I'd be trusting my life with a guy whose ears are longer than his dick. Genzo, calm off with the dick jokes, okay? And once you're inside, Jerry starts his word punchy. Yes, once you're inside, you'll turn and look at him. He blinks. Actually, I have no idea what it's like inside. I was one of the first to leave. That was before, well, all of this. I swallow, spit getting stuck in my throat. If it's this bad out on the outside, I say, what's the worst he could do? Except, well, yeah, Genzo does kinda have a point. We've seen the worst he could do, and it ain't pretty. It's only gonna get worse, unfortunately. At any rate, I have the utmost faith in you. Oh, thanks, Jerry. At least somebody's confident in us. Once inside, you know what to do. Found our once and future king. Jerry flings his arm out. Ears going ramrod straight, and snuff him out, once and for all. We're not killing him, you know. Jerry ignores me. Again. God damn it, Jerry. I was folding across his chest as he returns to listening for signs of our plan's progress. He pauses for a moment, reaches for something in his tunic. A small vial of sorts, and filled with a pale pink slop marinating in red soup. It takes me a moment to realize what I'm looking at. Is that? My stomach twists, turns. Trail bomb, Jerry says simply, and hands it to Gidget. Things go gaga over this stuff. Gidget takes it, twists it back and forth between their fingers. We bought it a bunch back when your kind still populated this place. Didn't last long enough after the hunting spree started. Jerry's eyes darken, and he pauses for a moment. His nose twitches. Anyway, it's good bait. Quite potent. We'll get you out of a pinch if need be. But it won't last long. It's pretty quick when there's no body accompanying the gooey bits, so don't dawdle. Thanks. She tucks the vial away in the inner pocket of their shirt. I suppose I should say I hope we don't have to use it. Indeed. How come I don't get a nasty bow bottle? Because we don't have many left, and I don't trust you, Jerry snaps. Which just makes Genzo pout. Let my gaze drop to a small rectangular dagger attached to my belt loop. I hope I won't have to use it either. With a thump, I slide back down the side of the rock until my seat hits the grass. Suddenly, the plan that seemed to make so much sense back in the cave feels like an impossible feat. Seeing the castle in the distance, well, there's feelings bubbling up inside my chest. You okay, Iggs? Genzo slides down next to me with a cushy thwomp. Kiji pulls a squat to my side, jaw taunt. You worried about anything in particular? Besides hoping that we all don't die, Wes crackles on the emphasis. Around my eyes, thumb messaging the bridge of my nose. Not that we haven't before, many times, but it feels different this time. Yeah, I guess. True. First time we've done any of this, Gidget muses. Yeah, and this is the first time everything has been way worse. So it does feel significant somehow. Yeah, almost final. Also, I guess I stop. Cringe. My gaze dropped to the rocks below. Just hope there's something we can do. He's not too far gone. Gets his face darkens at this. Grunts, but he doesn't say anything. Hands propped up on his knees as he picks idly at his thumbs. We'll do what we can. Kitty gives my shoulder a reassuring squeeze. We'll drag him out of that castle kicking and screaming if we have to. This thought doesn't bring a smile to my face, and I feel a little bit of anxiety squeezing my heart loosen. It made contact. Jerry's voice snaps us back into attention. He's gone perfectly still. Ears astray as TV antennas, searching for a signal. Gidget pushes themselves back to their feet, voice low. In Northern squads. Jerry hums an affirmation. This is enough to bring me to my feet, as well, despite the tremble in my knees. I can feel my heart picking up again, like a steadily accelerating metronome in my chest. Genzo follows behind, though conspicuously silent and lacking his earlier vivacity. One of the other rabbits ducked down beside Jerry, his movements crisp. Long-range units in position, sir. They already had to drive back a few hostiles. More stragglers than anticipated, then? Jerry clicks the back of his teeth together. Not ideal, but we've dealt with worse. Does that mean we'll be going soon? I try to sound confident despite the warble in my voice. Jerry ignores me, instead flicking his head in the direction of the town. The other rabbit seems to know what this means and goes bounding off down the hill. Come on, Jerry says simply, then takes off after them. Few will simply watch him go for a moment. So I'd taken a moment to register. Then, it goes running. were getting so hot on their tail. I have no choice but to scramble after them. Fingers and toes slightly numb from growing apprehension as I sprint down the hill and out across the dark field. It's a surreal feeling. Being out there in the middle of all that darkness. Nothing but the moon to guide my path as my heart races and my feet pound against the dirt. I can barely see my companions up ahead, which only worsens my dread. And I push my legs harder, moving past grasses and thistles like a white-topped streak in the dark. Race across the entire field, up to the buildings on the outskirts of town. See the roads come to a halt behind what looks like a remains of a large shed, and I book it after them. Catching my eyes shut as I put everything I can into the last leg of my sprint. Probably trip and fall a few feet away. I'm sliding across the gravel with a wincing-inducing thud. God damn it, Iggy. Can you stop falling and tripping over everything? Iggs. I hear against a hiss. I can see his paunchy shadows start towards me. But Jerry makes it there first, holding me up single-handedly by the back of my shirt, carrying me towards the building. Barely had time to register what's happening before he drops me back to the ground and grabs my wrist with a yank. You're staying with me. Probably for the best. God damn it. Get your fucking hands. Do you want him to die? Then stops getting in his tracks. And he steps back with a hump, fixing his hat. I sink somewhat shamefully back against the wall. Jerry's hand still clenched around my wrist bone. Jerry jerks back to peer around the side of the building. At vantage point, I can see the grass turn to cobblestones only a few feet away, but not much else. In my mind, I can see the small castle town as though it were yesterday. The quaint yet empty streets. Fountain tinkling in the central square. The air of disquietude hanging over everything like a dewy veil. Wonder what happened to the villagers in this timeline. The thought sends a shudder up my spine. I see Jerry's ears jerk left and right. His nose twitches. First squad is moving in, he says simply. Then turns back. Seems to realize how tightly he's gripping my arm. Probably releases it with a jerk. Sorry. Shake my head silently, massaging my wrist. Kinda got the vibe of a newborn kid. This makes me blanch. It's kinda... He doesn't finish. Instead, turning his head away with a small cough, tips of his ears curling. I find myself a bit of a loss, so I simply stand there, staring down at a small tuft of grass next to my feet. Anyway, we gotta get you to the castle in one piece. So, you can find the rat-tailed bastard. Silence him for good. He emphasizes this with a punch to his palm. You know we're not killing him, right? Just about had it at this point. Unable to stop myself, I saw my fall on the ground, hands displaying exasperation. It's getting ridiculous. We're not killing him, you know. Jerry blinks at my outburst. But I'm not done. Olin is our friend. I can feel moisture building up in the corners of my eyes. He needs our help. Needs us to what? I don't know. I don't know what we have to do. But he's in there and he's hurting, and it's our fucking fault, and maybe I don't really know how I feel about him, or any of this, but I care about him. Care about him a lot. I just hope we hands curl into fists as I grind my teeth together, but I ultimately let them fall into a defeated slump. It's silent for a moment, then, yeah, I get it. Jerry sniffs, rubs at his chin. Guess I've just seen a lot of my guys die, you know. So you'll have to forgive me if my words come out a bit harsher than intended. Ran a hand to the back of my neck, guilt buzzing along my hairline. Yeah, it's okay. My own feeling is about the guy, complicated. I mean, that's completely valid, after everything he's put you through. Complicated is a very good word for it. Memories plaguing my head, some of them horrific, others comforting. Feeling his fingers in mine as we danced, smile playing at his lips as he whispered things in my ear. The weight of him curled up against me, his fingertips. I squeezed my eyes shut, cheeks suddenly growing incredibly warm. I shook my head with a flustered jerk. Memories of all of them are the most chaotic, hard to piece together. Perhaps due to a stark juxtaposition of feelings they instill. Perhaps I spent so long down here with him, this place. The stuff to your head the longer you spend in it. Turned my gaze to Jerry, who's now staring at me, brows arched. You go somewhere, Kit? Sorry, memories, you know. Gave my hand a little wave as though it was somehow explain the amorphous disarray seizing my thoughts. Guess I can't fault you for that. Got enough of my own. Jerry puts his hand on my shoulder. I think it's supposed to be some kind of reassuring pat, but the strength behind it feels about ready to snap my clavicle. To future memories, then. Yeah. Then with a bit more gusto, yeah, future memories. Jerry looks like he wants to say something else. He even opens his mouth. But at that moment, something must catch his attention, because his ears give a twitch and he returns his attention to the side of the building. This time, even I can hear it. Far sound of combat further up in town grew silent. A lot of us hold at the ready behind the shed, just waiting. Then, I was at the gate. Let's move. Joey gives another click, and the other rabbits take off, back around the other side of the shed, disappearing into the night. Ginza and Gidget glance at each other, then at me. Turn an equally as bewildered look at Jerry's direction. Just stares at us blankly. Finally, what are you waiting for? Go. Flings his arm as though shooing us along. Take up the rear. This is enough to spur us into action. Take off. Running. Why is it always running? Do better this time though. Focusing my attention. Go whipping by the buildings on the outskirts of town, like a shadow in the night, keeping the outlines of my companions in my sights. Lungs find me every step of the way. I push past it, losing speed and strength into my legs. Come to a stop by another building, a short distance away, huddled in the dark. Silence. Then the rabbits in the lead jerks its head, and we're off again, flying from building to building, staying in the shadows as much as possible. Sounds of combat are nearer now. I can hear them when we stop, between my hurried breaths as I struggle to swallow oxygen. Sounds somewhat intense. Did the first squad really meet with so much resistance? And weren't even supposed to be that many rabbits left by the time first squad started towards the gate. The thought makes my stomach twist. I clench my fingers in the dirt by my knees. No signal from the lead rabbit. Then we're off again. Halfway towards the moat perhaps, but it's hard to gauge. Clench my eyes shut, then back open. Fighting back nausea swelling in my belly, and a coppery tang on my tongue. Focus only on the shadowy shapes in front of me. Keep up with them. That's all I have to do. That's when a sun blur motion streaks across my path. The elephant screeched to a halt, so fast my feet slipped from under me, going back flat on my ass. It's a rabbit, one of the king's men. His ears and lips curl back as he surveys the parameter, sets his sights on me. A growl rolling off his tongue sends tendrils of panic up through the base of my brain. I give a little whimper, crawling backwards through the grass. Iggs. Here comes his voice, sound of him and Gidget turning around. There's no way they'll make it in time. See the rabbit reel back, his fur standing on end, eyes wide. There's a shriek, then Jerry leaps over my head and tackles him to the ground. Yay, Jerry, thank you. Then go tumbling a flurry of limbs and fur. Jerry gains a momentary upper hand, pinning the other rabbit to the ground, and shoots all three of us a glare. Don't just stand there, run! Do as I'm told, scrambling to my feet and streaking towards Genzo and Gidget. Then, we're running. I just catch Jerry plunging his dagger into the other rabbit's throat with a squelch before we go, barreling around the next corner. We don't stop. Racing. Look around wildly for the rest of our squad. Gidget throws her hand out with a rough grunt to point them out. Not stopping anymore either. In just a moment, I see why. Shriek. Followed by another. And another. Flushes of brown fur leaping out of the shadows down from the rooftops. Fuck, there's so many of them. I thought the whole plan was supposed to let us avoid these guys. Kenja House 3 is ragged for us. Yeah, well, we couldn't flash in front of us. Something fell to the ground and caused us to stop short. And I just about lose my lunch all over the grass at sight. It's one of the Iggies. Only it's barely recognizable. Oh no, not the Iggies! Not the poor Iggies! Limbs are bitten off, and so strewn like party favors. Giant chunk gorged out of his neck. Head hanging on by nothing more than a few stringy threads. Bring my head to my mouth on instinct. Another flash. Rabbit leads down from the nearest roost, lands on Iggy's body. Gooey scorches and another helping him in a squeeze out of the limp body. It whips out the dagger, a half-silent curse as Genzo's arm flies up between me and the rabbit. But the defensive efforts prove pointless when a second thug comes behind us. We whirl around to see another rabbit leering at us. His jaws are already red with blood. Take a step back, heart beating so loud in my chest I can barely hear. First rabbit rears back with a shriek, then jumps. This time the block comes from the front. One of the rabbits want to squat us back, looking straight for the incoming rabbit and slamming him to the ground. The second sound screeches and leaps towards them. Three of us take off as more and more screeches continue to fill the air. I thud next to us. I nearly scream. I realize it's just another one of our allies. Thank Christ. We're already boasting a fresh scratch across his arm. Dagger at the ready as he runs along beside us. Past more and more buildings. Some of them with fresh red stains. The redstone fence. Body of one of our slain allies drooped over the top. Fuck. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Motion to our right. I spy two enemy rabbits feasting on the body of an Iggy in shadows between the buildings. One looks up as we pass and charges with a shriek. Our accompanying ally rabbit is there to block the attack. Leaps with a kick, slams the other rabbit down into the ground. They get plunging with a geyser of blood. Push myself faster. I see the buildings start to thin out up ahead. Past that, dark and umbria of the moat. I'm almost there. Just need to follow the moat westward to the sewers. A little more strength, more speed into my legs. When an exertion is sending tears to my eyes and blowing my already hazy vision. Two fears left first. Soon pause for only a moment to check that the two of us are still following, then continue their sprint. Genso follows close behind, only wiping out on a slick piece of gravel before riding himself with a fuck, and assuming his forward velocity. Then me. Cut the corner just a bit, not caring that it takes me closer to a half-obscured patch of brush. They were worrying about not falling behind. Not letting any of those things catch up to me. On the corner would twist on my heels, only for the rabbit in the brush to pounce. Hits me square from the side, sending me flying, bouncing, tumbling down the path. The moment can't see, can't even breathe. Just rolling and sliding and skidding as the gravel bites into my shoulders and arms. Then come to a stop, head still spinning. And you see the rabbit perched over me with a hungry leer. I stare up at it, wide-eyed. Then, pure instinct, reach for the retractable dagger and my belt loop and stab. Tip of the dagger goes in with surprising ease. Thrust it in up to the hilt, with the rabbit neck tingling in my fingers. I also seemed surprised at first. I saw a screech, body writhing backwards in pain. Get the dagger out, raising it above my head for a second stab. The rabbit is ready this time. But before my hands can descend, just grabbed my arm with a fleshy twist, and yanking it from the socket. I let out a yelp, and opened my eyes in horror as I watched the rabbit's head lunge towards my wrist. The bristles squelch. My jaws dropped with a silent scream. Pupils trembling, just staring, trying to comprehend the sight in front of me. Teeth are through my arm. I choke, sputter, finally eke out a heady groan. Fingers, my arms, my entire body shaking and twitching. Razor sharp crackles of pain explode out from the point of entry, blood bubbling up around the rabbit's teeth to big rivers down my skin. Panic and attempt to yank my arm away. Rope is too tight. It only makes more firecracker explode across my vision. Genso, get you. Eyes go hot with tears, my head swimming. But it's neither Genso nor Gidget that appears. Hey Jerry, again! My god, we really do owe you our lives. The brown flush that launches itself at my assailant. Before I even get a chance to process it, it's gone tumbling from the side, full of rolling bodies and blood. Jerry slams the rabbit's head into the ground with an angry snap. The resulting crunch of skull makes my stomach whirl. Turns towards me, eyes sharp. What I can do to stare back. Legs trembling, red soaked arm still poised from the attack. Shit. Jerry bites at a streak of blood painting his chin. Grabs my good arm and yanks me to my feet without a word. Then we're running, sprinting. I can barely keep up. Must be forcing yourself to run at a more reasonable pace, but even that's too fast. I can feel my legs struggling beneath me, my heart screaming, like I'm on a treadmill turned up too high, 1 second from flying off. But it's not the last. A shriek from behind us. Jerry skids to a stop as another rabbit launches itself out of the shadows to block our path. Ram into Jerry from behind with a yelp. We're attempting to make heads or tails of each subsequent rapid fire development. That reels back on its haunches, then leaps. Jerry shoves me out of the way as the rabbit hits him square in the chest. Go rolling, dirt and grass flying. Jerry comes out on top, slamming the other rabbit face first into the gravel before yanking his ears back, sliding his dagger across his throat. Another screech. Rabbit comes streaking out of the trees to the left. Then another. This one bounding out the path, his fur stained red. Back. I back up. Back. Jerry grabs the back of my shirt and tears me out of the way as he shoulders out one of the incoming rabbits into the ground with a gut-wrenching thud. It all happens so fast. Something flies up into my throat as my legs and arms flail helplessly in the air. Hung first left, then right, then some kind of limp ragdoll as Jerry turns towards the other rabbit. Sidestepping its harried charging before twisting around with a kick and slamming it into the ground. Jerry doesn't wait to see if this one is down for good. He takes off, this time tucking me in against its chest and upping his speed. All I can do to clench my eyes shut and burrow my face into the fabric of his cloak. The ground whizzes by beneath me. You have to be almost there by now. You have to. I feel tears well up in my eyes again. Pain, panic, sheer tumult happening around me, turning my heart and brain into a continuous overdrive. Next attack surprises both of us. Red cracking jolt from the right. I hear something snap inside Jerry's chest. His world goes upside down. Then we're rolling. At some point in a dizzying tumble, we got separated. I go skidding. Rocks biting into my cheeks and my arms leaving a brilliant red streak across the gravel. Let out a haggard moan, body limp and trembling. I can't move. I barely think. Even as the rabbit who assailed us turns its side on me, comes standing across the path. I guess my eyes shut with a whimper. Oh, the attack doesn't come. Jerry has rolled on top of me. The charging rabbit latches onto his back instead, plunging its teeth into Jerry's shoulder. Jerry lets out a shriek of his own, but doesn't move. Just lies there, water-curled over me like some kind of protective shell. And I feel my heart twist. Rabbit digs its teeth in deeper, twisting its head left, right, clamping down on muscle and tissue. See Jerry wince. He is curling in pain as his arms tremble around me. More shrieks around us. Yeah, all around us now. Closing in. I watch in horror as another rabbit lunges forward, teeth clamping down around Jerry's leg. Jerry's body gives another jolt, his face contorting. But still, he doesn't move. Even as I hear his skin get rent between their massive teeth. Turns his gaze towards the path ahead, one eye clenched shut in agony. Yeah, almost there, kid. He hisses, voice hoarse. Pull his gaze to see the boot twist around. Grey sparkle of concrete peeking out over the small hillock. Sewer. Eyes widen with a start. And I jerk back towards Jerry with a slight shake of my head. Run, and don't stop. Promise me. Another shake. Tears are springing back into my eyes. Green panic spurring my heart into a mad gallop. Jerry lets out another grunt of surprise, and the third rabbit leaps on top of him, jaws descending on his backside. Manzo quaking now, barely able to keep himself aloft. But that doesn't stop him from shooting me a glare that just about drains the blood from my face. Fucking idiot! Run! Something in there snaps into action. The hurrious gathering of dirt and rocks and grass scramble out from under him and into my feet. Run. I don't look back. Can't look back. Half trip. Stumble forward. Sprint. Sail. Fly. Don't even notice I'm screaming until my throat gives a scratchy crackle and my lungs threaten to give out. And still I keep running. Numb feet pounding the earth. Wind lashing at my cheeks. Go tearing around the small hill, feet sliding in dirt and dust. It's there. It's there. Large concrete embankment. Dark round hole in its side. Metal bars like a giant rusted teeth. Ginsu and Gitcha are already there on the other side of the bars, beckoning me towards them, reaching, shouting at me. I'll will everything I have into that final push. Another shriek that rattles my lungs, fly through the bars, past the bars, flying on the muck and going tumbling to the concrete surface. Fuck. River black goopy oozing down the center of the pipe splashes up around me, sizzling sparks of pain and up and down my arms, searing my cheeks. Quickly roll out of her off to the side, limp and gasping, just laying there in the surrounding grime. For just a second, wonder if I'm still breathing. If I'm still alive. Dizzy dancing view of the dark rounded walls around me spinning, before finally setting into fuzzy stillness. Ginsu and Gitcha are there, arms around me. Voices soft and scared and panicked, but there. There for me, grounding me, keeping the shock from fully claiming me, even as the dank chill of the sewer seeps up into my clothes and skin. We made it. We made it. I don't think Jerry did, though. God damn it. Just when I was liking him, too. Why am I crying over him? We barely even got to know him, and he barely got even any screen time. God damn it. Hopefully his sacrifice won't be in vain then. Fuck me though. Why does everybody else have to fucking die just for our damn cause? God, we really have fucked up Wonderland, haven't we? None of them deserved any of that. Let this thought wash over me as I close my eyes with a trembling mew. Then I lose it. Tears begin to bulge down in my cheeks.